Hello, scholars. Today we are going to discuss about debt products. We already discussed that there are five pillars in financial market ecosystem: instruments, issuers of the instrument, investors, intermediaries, and institutions. Let's go and discuss more about financial instrument. There are 100 types of financial instrument, and if you try to understand each financial instrument separately, you will get confused. And there are so many varieties, it will be almost impossible to learn if you get to individual products. So in such cases, what we do, we use our scientific classification methods, where we first classify in physics or chemistry or biology. In biology, we classify plants, animal, and bacteria, viruses, and so on. So that methods helps a lot. It is top-down method. So here I will divide this financial instrument into 4 by 4 matrix based on the whether they are generic product or and complexity, whether they are complex or simple. What is the difference between generic and branded or package? We know in a generic medicine and branded medicine, it's almost same. Generic products. This is generic product list where you can directly buy from the stock exchange or issuer, and there are no fund management or any financial professional involved in this. Maybe minimal intermediary, but costs are very less in generic product because no one is managing actively. Under the generic product, we will divide into two component again, two parts. One is simple product, simple generic products. And most of you are already aware about FD, that is fixed deposit you do in the bank or post office, that is FD. Another financial instrument which is generic is bonds and bill, that is a treasury bills. Bonds can be government bonds or corporate bonds. Bonds are also called as security market. Bonds also called as securities. Okay, less than 1 year maturity is called as bills, and more than 1 year maturity bonds, and obviously shares. So these are the simple products and these are generic product. Simple and packaged products are like this. Exchange traded funds, I recommend you to watch the videos of step 1 where we have discussed detail about ETF mutual funds. These are the packaged products, but they are very simple as such. Why simple? Because cost of this fund management is much less than these complex products. Okay, although it is higher than the simple, but still it is less than these complex products. In the complex product, in a generic, there are derivatives which we don't discuss in the IMP. It is a different course derivative. Another is preference shares, convertible bonds. We don't do it, but it should be aware that there are such terminology. So when you read in the books, you might come about this. These are the complex products and generic itself. And then packaged product like alternative investment fund, specialized investment fund, PMAs, asset-based security, insurance plan. All these are highly complex, and we don't discuss it because of they are not worthy to discuss as such for the beginners level. Those are highly costly and commission-loaded products, and they are not transparent as well. So our entire focus is on simple products. In this batch, we are discussing NPS because NPS rule have been changed in last month. So now NPS has become attractive. It is at par with the mutual funds, especially for retirement planning. So be prepared to study these products only. We are not going to discuss this product, but for the cognitive framework, this is a good classification. So whenever you read books or YouTube, you can classify products into 4 different quadrants. Let's slightly discuss about debt product. Now, when we say the investing, what we do is a very simple process. We give money and buys asset. So money going out, asset coming in. Now there is, when we buy gold, commodity or house, it is actually a physical asset which is coming in. But in case of debt, what is coming in is just a paper. That is certificate or receipt that you have given a money. And that is nothing but the lending. So when we invest into debt product, we are actually lending our money. We are not buying such anything physical. We are lending money, and what we are getting is a certificate, deposit certificate, FD certificate, and so on. So this is investing, we can say, now converted into two different routes. One is lending, money lending business, and other is owning some assets. If we buy the gold commodity, we are owner of the asset. In case of giving lending money, you are not owner of any asset. You are just owner of claim that that loan will be refunded. So this is a debt means lending. Okay, what does a debt means? Debt means loan, some sort of lending. Now, the person who give loan is also considered as a debt buying, and the person who is taking also considered debt. So debt word is used for on both side, the lender as well as person who take the loan or money. So what does it? Debt means loan or lending. Clear? It's very simple definition. Why do we invest into debt product? We invest into debt product for two reasons. One is to park money for short term or capital protection, or maybe get a return which is approximately at the par of inflation. So protection from the inflation. Although it may not completely protect, but some sort of protection from inflation, or parking short term fund. Park and protect. Remember, park and protect. So this is and these are the short term investment. Debt investment should not be considered as long term, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, because they don't give a growth. They are good for only short term. Short term means 1 year, 2 year, max 3 year. We can't consider 7 years as a long short term. So why do we invest in to debt product? Parking of the money and protection of the capital. Clear? Write it down. Why do we invest into the debt product? As I mentioned, we have to answer 5 questions. Why to buy, what to buy, how much to buy, when to buy, and when to sell. So when we discuss about debt product, why? So your why should be clear. It is a short-term investment for parking the surplus cash for short term, maybe 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, or protection of capital. Next is, what are the debt products? So as I mentioned, we have to classify products so that it become easy to learn about product. So now another classification of debt product now. Similarly, we can use for equity as well, based on this same framework. Okay. So the unlisted debt product and listed debt product. Listed debt product means they are listed on the stock exchange. You can buy and sell on the stock exchange. Here they are unlisted, are not listed on the stock exchange. You can buy online or offline branches, but not stock exchange. Why this listed and unlisted is important? Write it down. First, logistics of both product is different. Second, there is a certain difference in the taxation part. Listed product taxed differently and unlisted is tracked differently. Okay, taxed differently. So that's why it is important. Logistics and taxation are different. Under the listed, again, this is the generic and package. Generic product are FD, that is fixed deposit, public provident fund, even EPF, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, Kisan Vikas Patra, post office schemes, and there are many other schemes in the bank and post office, government scheme. These are the generic and unlisted. These cannot be sold to other people. So there is another word for this as well, that these are not tradable or untradable, not non-tradable. So these unlisted product, which are also called as a small savings schemes, cannot be traded. Next, under the unlisted package category is the debt mutual fund. Now, debt mutual funds eventually invest into the stock market, but that is not your concern. Okay, you are investing in the debt mutual fund via directly website or aggregator. You are not concerned about stock exchange here. But this is unlisted product, debt mutual fund. How do we buy this unlisted product? There are aggregators like Mutual Fund Central, Zerodha Coin, AMC Mutual Funds website, unlisted. These are not listed. Where do these people invest money? That is not your concern. Even package product is one of the product is ignorance plan, which also like a debt product which gives 5% return over 20 years. That is also we can add here, but that is not a good product to invest. Then under the listed product and the generic, there are T-bill, treasury bill, bonds, government security, corporate bonds. These are listed. You can buy and sell on the stock exchange. On stock exchange, there are package products as well. Those are called as exchange traded funds. For example, liquid case. There are other as well, but this is an example. So debt product we classify into two categories: unlisted, listed. Within this category, subcategories are generic and package. Okay, generic and package. So don't confuse this classification, which was global classification here. This was overall classification based on the simplicity and complexity. And we are focusing only on simple. So we are not into complex. So here there will be two categories now. Generic product, simple products are generic product, a listed product and unlisted. Okay. So this is the entire classification and we are focusing on simple product which are listed and unlisted. So these are the words used in the debt product. Now, what is the debt product? Few terminologies I will discuss. Let's take an example of FD, fixed deposit. Many people have the misconception that fixed deposit means guaranteed return or guarantee security. No, it is not. Only 5 lakhs rupees FD is guaranteed. Rest of the amount is not guaranteed. Fixed word meanings you are getting fixed interest rate. Fixed does not mean secure. Okay. So understand the debt product, simple debt product, FD. So if you invest 100 rupees, bank says that we will give you 6% return per year. And they say that we will credit that interest 2 times a year. We say 2 times. Okay. So we will call this as a frequency of interest payment. So this is a rate of interest. This is a nominal rate of interest. Effective rate of interest may be little higher because you are getting return 6 months. If it is given quarterly, it will be still higher. And at the beginning, whatever the amount we give is the principal. And if you do FD for 5 years, we call this as a maturity and tenor or tenor. Okay. Tenor means time, how much time is to expire. It is also called as number of years. Okay. So these are, you already know in a FD, right? In case of bonds, now at the end, bank will give 100 rupees. That will be with, it is called as redemption. So what does bank give? Every 6 months, it will give, let's say, at the beginning, you give 100 rupees first year. And then every 6 months, it will give 3%, 3%, 3%. Up to 5 years, and last they will refund 100 rupees along with the 3% interest rate. This is the FD product. Okay. What about bonds? Bonds are exactly like FD, but there are slight variations that bonds can be traded, FD cannot be traded on the stock exchange or each other. So FD is not non-tradable asset. So in case of bond, for the principal, they use face value or par value. What is the par value? Write down. Par value is the amount which is given back or refunded at the time of maturity. That is called as par value. Okay, the amount which will be refunded at the end of maturity is called as par value or face value. For the interest rate, they use word coupon rate. Coupon rate is nothing but the interest rate. Why it is called as coupon? Because in the previous era, there used to be physical certificate like this. And here bond information was mentioned, how much face value and so on. And there used to be coupon. You have to go and tear this coupon and give to issuer. They will give one amount, that 3 rupees as an interest. Okay, so that's why it is called as coupon. Coupon, physical coupon. And here, if it is coupon is frequency it is also called as frequency. Okay, same word. Maturity. Okay, the same word. Redemption value same thing. These are the few terminologies in the bonds. In the bond, there are few more terminologies called as yield. What does it mean? Suppose you invest in the bond at 100 rupees here and you get 3 rupees after 6 months, again 3 rupees after 6 months. And if you reinvest with the same interest rate and hold it till maturity, how much will be total interest you will get, total yield or total amount of return? That is called as yield. So yield is, write down, yield is the rate of return if you reinvest the coupon amount with the same interest rate and hold till maturity. So it is similarly in case of bank, if you say that don't pay me semi-annually, instead of reinvest. So that is also cause compounding. And even if initial coupon rate is 6, so yield might be higher because of compounding. Okay. So that is yield. That is one understanding of yield. So yield is the rate of return with the assumption that you reinvest the coupon amount with the same coupon rate and hold it till maturity. Next, bond price. After issuing the bond in the primary market, where investor buy the bonds from the issuer, that bond is traded on the security market or stock exchange, and it is traded like shares only. So although face value is 100, bond price may go up and down. Okay, bond price may go up and down. And what are the reasons of price going up and down? Is we say the demand and supply is always there. In everywhere, demand and supply always is the first. Thereafter, market interest rate. Market interest rate. It decide the bond price. How does it affect? Suppose there is Adani who came with the bond. He says that you give 100 rupees and I'll give 8% coupon rate. At that time, RBI repo rate is, let's say, 6%. This is repo rate and this is the coupon rate of Adani company. But after 1 year, RBI says that we want to reduce the repo rate because we want to increase the growth. So RBI reduced coupon rate to 5%. And if someone wants, let's say next year, if someone wants to buy any fresh bond, that time other company will come with the 7% interest rate, because RBI repo rate is this. Let's say this is a Tata company, TCS come with the bond with the 7% coupon rate. Now you are investor, you have the choice to invest 100 rupees and get 7%, or 100 in the Adani's bond and get 8%. Now everyone will rush to buy 8% coupon rate bond, because this is, let's say 100 rupees is the principal. Since market rate is 7% as of now, similar bond, and the Adani is giving 8%. So what will do? People will start rushing to this and the bond price will go up. So it may go up to 102. Now calculation we'll discuss later on. I'm just giving a rough idea. Now bond price become 102 and it is giving 8%. Now this Tata is 100 rupees price and giving 10%. Now what will happen? You can say that this is a very crude way, but nevertheless it is easy to explain the how bond prices changes with the change in interest rate. Okay, so suppose next day bond price went 102 rupees. Still people say that, oh, still it is giving more return. So what people will still rush to that and start buying the bond. Okay, see, as compared to Tata, Adani is giving 7.7% return and Tata is giving 7. So people will say, no, we'll increase the premium. We'll add the buy. Okay, price will keep increasing. and it will be stabilized and exactly equalize at this uh, Tata return. Now it has gone, let's say here 114. Okay, so now they are become comparable. So how they are comparable? Now one can buy 100 rupees, get 7 rupees, or someone has the option to buy Adani bond at 140 to 14 and the same return. So now this return has equalized. Okay. So what has happened now? You can see that when market rate interest rate goes down, this bond price goes up. Exactly opposite happen when interest rate goes up. Okay. Exactly opposite happen when interest goes up. For example, let's say here interest RBI increased to 8%, 7%, and now Tata giving 9%. Okay, here is the 9%. Now what will happen? This person also giving 8% only. So it will go, price will fall down, maybe 96, 93, even 90, 21. So we want to make, what is happened here? Something is missing. 8. Okay, we have to make it 89, 88. All right. So now they have become comparable. Return has become comparison. But what has happened is the bond price has gone down. When market interest rate goes up, bond price goes down. So this is one relationship of interest rate and bond price. So that is why it is called as interest rate risk. So write down interest bond price is inversely proportional to the market interest rate, or inversely proportional to the change in the interest rate. Okay. Now, when we do the yield calculation, and automatically this market equilibrium arrive, and this yield is calculated based on the bond price. So most of the time, uh, market interest rate yield of similar bonds becomes equal. These are the basics. Maybe you will have to read little more about this because this is fundamentals. And once you learn, this is lifetime learning. In case of investing in debt product, what are the risks? One is called as credit risk. What if the issuer does not give you a return principal or interest? Then that is called as credit risk. Then interest rate. Okay. And then there are other risks like economical risk, liquidity risk, and so on. Okay. So credit risk, we usually invest into only government security. So government security does not have credit risk. So only the risk for the debt product is interest rate risk. Okay. So we usually don't recommend directly buying the bond or bills. You can do it, but why? I tell you why. Debt product, debt funds are more tax efficient and convenient for investing rather than the bonds. Why? Liquidity in some bond may not be good, people, because it is not that much liquid. So, but for the basic understanding, I recommend you to read about the bonds, read about these things: face value, frequency, maturity, redemption price, yield, bond price, coupon rate, relationship between bond price and interest rate. Now, this there is one term called as modified duration. Sometime only duration only. It is here I shown you the trial error method, that how bond price will go down if interest rates goes up or down. That is measured by the modified duration. So its modified duration is shows that change in bond price with respect to change in interest rate. It is a market interest rate. And this is sensitivity parameters. If there is 1% change in the interest rate, how much change will happen in the bond price? And that is called as modified duration. This modified duration is different for each bond. It is based on the coupon rate, maturity, and all other parameters. But term you remember, modified duration is the sensitivity parameter of the bond price with respect to change in the interest rate, period. It is like a beta of stock market, beta or delta of option. They are one and same thing. They behave, we say, similarly. Change in something, how much will be the change in this? Okay. This is modified duration. Why understanding of these basics is important? This will be your foundation. This will be maybe your once in a lifetime. You don't have to buy the bonds, but this understanding will help you to analyze the debt product. Okay. So assignment is very simple. Read the notes which admin will post in the web LMS and read basic terms of bonds. What is modified duration? Okay. And risk in bonds. Okay. These three things you have to study from the Google, Chat GPT, Gemini, whatever you have, and write in a brief in your own word. Don't copy and paste. Oh, there is no point in copy and pasting because it is already available on the Google. What is the point? Write your own words in the notes, and you can share with your co-scholar next month. Okay, these are the assignments. Thank you very much.